Hey, I'm Carol Bosworth, and this is my son Grant Bosworth. He just turned 18 years old in January, and I'm telling this story because about a month after his birthday, he got sick, and he was kind of sick on and off for about 2 weeks, and then the week of February 8th or 9th, he got a sore throat and was really sick, was running a little fever, and so for about 3 days he ran a fever and was just feeling yucky and a really bad sore throat. So on Friday I took him to the doctor and she diagnosed him with strep throat. But she was concerned that he looked sicker than just strep throat would warrant, so she called the ER and talked to the doctor there, and they felt that it was beneficial to him to come in and get tested for viral meningitis to make sure that he didn't have that, because she just thought he looked too sick. So we tracked over to ER, and Grant was just a trooper. He felt lousy, but he was talking to me and thanking me for taking him and all that. And so he walked into ER, and we got situated, and they gave him some morphine because his neck was hurting so bad and his throat was hurting so bad, and he was feeling quite happy with that because he wasn't in pain anymore. But he was talking to me and telling me what a wonderful dad he was and talking about school. And they came in and did the spinal tap for the meningitis, and got done with that, and he said he had a headache, and they asked him what his pain was, and he said it was like a 5. He was very analytical, looked at their little chart and told him it was a 5. And the doctor told him that he wasn't going to be feeling any pain, that he was going to give him something 10 times stronger than morphine. And I trusted that they knew what they were doing and didn't even think to question or ask what it was or anything, but they gave him another pain medication called Dilaudid. And we walked out of the room, and he talked to his dad on the phone and told him how wonderful it felt because he had no pain at all, and thanked his dad for being a great dad, and then fell asleep and was snoring really loudly. And I was sitting beside him, and different family members were calling to see how he was doing, Britt, my daughter, and my husband, and my sister, and I was just telling them that he was sleeping, and they were still waiting back for their results for the meningitis. And so about an hour and a half later, I just looked at him, and he didn't look right. Because I looked at him before, and he just looked peaceful. But he didn't look right. His lips looked white. So I got up and talked to him, and he didn't respond. And so I went out and yelled. And there was only one person in view, some nurse or something, and I yelled for them to come in there, and nobody came. And I yelled about 2 or 3 times and told him I thought my son was dying. And so then they all came running. They did CPR. And apparently Grant had gone into respiratory shock and then cardiac shock as a result of this pain medication. That's a very powerful pain medication. And so as a result of that, he has an anoxic brain injury to his basal ganglia, which is deep inside the brain. And so we're now on day, what? 83 since that happened. And Grant is now at Healthbridge Children's Hospital in Orange, in a rehab hospital. And we're seeing little progress, little baby steps every day, or as my sister-in-law calls it, giant leaps. But sometimes I have to remind doctors and nurses who they're talking about when they talk about my son. I tell them, you mean my son, the one that's a 4.2 GPA at Liberty Christian School, who worked at Rock and Water last summer as an intern and slaved his way through to get the job this summer as a whitewater raft instructor, and has a scholarship to Point Loma University in San Diego, who's kind to everyone and funny and loves to act, and was expecting to be Jafar in the play at his school and expecting to go to Hawaii with his senior trip and expecting to graduate in June. And I mean, that boy, because that's the boy that we know and love, that's kind to everybody. And so here we are at Healthbridge, and we're going to have to go home. He gets 100 days here on our insurance, and so we'll be going home in June. And when we go home, we have to have round-the-clock nursing because he has a trach, as you can see, and he has a feeding tube. But
And so we're getting our house ready. We're renovating our house and getting it ready for him to come home so we can take care of him there. And we don't have any idea what his recovery will be. We have faith. We know that God is doing a work in him, and we believe that Grant is going to be healed and that he's going to come back to us and be able to talk to us again. And he's fighting hard. A lot of the things that I see every day like this, I think he's trying to make connections, and he wants so badly to talk to us. And if any of you know Grant, you know how much he loves to talk and debate things and always has something to say. And I just believe he's going to come back and be able to do that again. But what breaks my heart is the things he's missing out on right now, the things he was so looking forward to. Just to being a senior and being with his friends and going to college with his friends. And that's just delayed. I know it's just delayed. But wait, that's our story. So our family is hanging together, and we've got a huge support system, wonderful friends that are helping us get through this. And we just know without a doubt that God is with us and that he's working in Grant's life, and that the miracle in his life has already begun, and he's going to come along. We've had people encourage us, people who've been through similar situations, that if we listen to the doctors, the neurologist, it's a grim story. So we're not listening to them. We're listening to people who give us hope, and there's a lot of them out there.